breakfast cereals. If you're gonna watch Saturday morning cartoons, you were definitely gonna be involved in some way with cereal. Either you're gonna be eating cereal while you're watching the cartoon, or you're gonna see a bunch of cereal commercials pop up during the cartoons. Wherever cartoons go, cereal follows. But of course, for every cereal that is still around, there are tons of cereals that we don't ever see or eat anymore. And considering some of the ingredients they had in some of those cereals, probably for good reason. I'm definitely picking some cereals that aren't around anymore, but I want to talk about these specific cereals because I just thought the idea behind them was a little odd. Like, it makes sense that they made these cereals, but it also kind of doesn't. This is my list of the most random, most weird, most unique, most different cereals that were out there, and just making some silly jokes about them. You know what's better than playing video games? Eating them.
Nintendo. It's for breakfast now. Nintendo. It's a cereal. Wow.
Nintendo. It's for breakfast now. Yes, it makes perfect sense, and Nintendo, being as popular as it was in the 80s, would of course have a cereal. So in 1988, Ralston, the king of making cereal based after your favorite IPs, if it was a movie, a TV show, a video game, a cartoon, a toy, Ralston's gonna make a cereal out of it. They made Nintendo Cereal, or let me say, the Nintendo Cereal System. I love that they made it that name because the NES is the Nintendo Entertainment System. Do you also know their comics were called the Nintendo Comic System? They had a whole system thing going here. They had a system of a system. But what makes Nintendo Cereal System so interesting is that it's two cereals in one. Wow!
Nintendo. Super Mario Jump. Nintendo. In a fruit flavored crunch.
Just like the Nerd cereal, which is not on this list but probably should be. Who's eating Nerds for breakfast? Stop. The Mario side was fruit flavored and the Legend of Zelda side was berry flavored. And could you really tell the difference? Like, could you really tell the difference between the fruit flavored and the berry flavored side of the Nintendo Cereal System? No, it's just all the same when it's in milk. Soggy.
Nintendo. Here's Zelda too. Nintendo. It's very good news.
And they were shaped kind of like things from the game. Like, you had a Mario and Mushroom and Goomba and Koopa Troopa, Bowser, I believe that's what that is. The Zelda side was a little bit better. They had hearts and they had keys and boomerangs and shields. You can kind of make that shape. And they of course had Link. But hey, it was a cool cereal, and you would usually have some Nintendo stickers and trading cards and game tips and stuff like that. It's weird that they didn't keep this going. I feel like with something as popular as Nintendo was, how did we not have more Nintendo cereal systems based after other games? What would a Punch-Out cereal taste like? What's a Metroid cereal taste like? Or why did we not get a Super Nintendo cereal system? Just think, if they would have come out with a Super Nintendo cereal, we could have had a Sega Genesis cereal come out at the same time, and we could have had Cereal Wars. I know they later on gave us Super Mario cereal and Pokemon got a cereal, but you know, I just feel like the Nintendo cereal system should have kept going. I want a Nintendo Cereal 64.
Nintendo Cereal System is a super part of this nutritious breakfast. Nintendo. Two cereals in one. Wow!
So yeah, game over for Nintendo Cereal System. And Donkey Kong cereal, and Donkey Kong Jr. cereal, and Pac-Man cereal, which was the best cereal ever. It was little Power Pellet Corn Puffs, and they had marshmallows and Pac-Man and the Ghost Monsters, and eventually had a Super Pac-Man marshmallow that was a little bit bigger, and they had a Miss Pac-Man marshmallow that was white and pink. It was so good, and I love that cereal. They should bring it back. Pac-Man is still a thing. Make a Pac-Man cereal again. I need it back. I love Pac-Man cereal, dude. I love Pac-Man cereal. It's so good.
You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man cereal. You can do the Pac-Man.
Fred Flintstone is the king, the czar, the mob boss of cereal world. He has got them Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles on lock. They have been around for decades. But that wasn't enough for the Pebbles Empire. They tried to add one more cereal to the bunch.
Dino! He's outrageous, it's true, because his Dino Pebbles cereal has marshmallows for you!
So in 1990, we had Dino Pebbles. I can just assume that someone walking down the aisle might have seen Dino Pebbles and thought that sounded like Dino Pebbles, which just sounds like dino droppings, which doesn't sound delicious. So while Fruity Pebbles were fruit flavored and Cocoa Pebbles were chocolate flavored, Dino Pebbles were sweet vanilla-ish rice. They were basically like the Pebbles before adding the fruit or the chocolate.
Marshmallow did the Dino's purple, orange, green, red, vanilla-flavored cereal.
You went backwards in Pebbles. Like, you can't have a fruit-flavored and a chocolate-flavored Pebbles and then later on go with a plain one. You're supposed to do it the opposite way. But then they were like, well, let's just throw some marshmallows in it. They won't notice. Marshmallows that were shaped like Dino, and then eventually I think they added other dinosaur shapes as well. But I think what really was the nail in the coffin for Dino Pebbles was the commercial, because this came out in 1990, early 90s extreme time when everything is just, let's just skateboard and say everything's radical.
Later, dudes.
We had a commercial where Barney and Fred were rapping about Dino Pebbles while Dino is extreme skating all over the place.
Dino's a real rat, dude. New Dino Pebbles cereal. They got his attitude.
It's giving Poochie. It's giving how do you do, fellow kids. There have been other Pebbles variations as well, but it seems like Fruity and Cocoa are always going to be the standard. So good try, Dino Pebbles, but I'm sorry, you're unfortunately extinct.
Dino's a real rat, dude. New Dino Pebbles cereal. They got his attitude.
By the way, I have to give a shout out to Bose who sent me this. This is the Bose SoundLink Flex Bluetooth speaker. Look at that, it's about the size of a Nintendo Switch Lite. Portable speaker, but it packs a punch when it comes to sound.
I went on the internet and found education connection.
You can put it on a shelf, you can put it outside, inside. You can have a couple of these and have them playing at the same time because this thing has Bluetooth built in. So if you want to go onto your phone and pull up your Spotify playlist, you can have it playing right through these speakers and it sounds really good.
I'll make it prove it to you. Follow me.
It has a steel grill and a silicone exterior. This makes this thing waterproof and dustproof. Like, you can be at the pool hanging out. You don't have to worry about it getting wet and messing up. It's gonna be fine. You can easily charge it with USB-C, and once it's fully charged, it can play for up to 12 hours. It comes in 4 colors: black, stone blue, carmine red, or white smoke. So if you're looking for a nice portable speaker to have with you on the go, or even just to chill out in your room, the Bose SoundLink Flex Bluetooth speaker, check them out at Bose.com.
Speak with your heart, yeah!
Time to make the donuts.
It makes sense that Dunkin Donuts would want to have a cereal, but it also doesn't make sense.
Introducing a big idea from a giant in the business, the world's smallest donuts. Ta-da! In new Dunkin Donuts cereal.
So the concept of Dunkin Donuts cereal is you're eating cereal that tastes like Dunkin Donuts. They had a chocolate flavored one and a glazed flavored one. They looked like little tiny donuts. Some of them were whole, some of them were twists.
You get delicious, crunchy little donuts by the hundreds. All your favorite donut shapes, rings, holes, and twists.
And it had the Dunkin Donuts name on it. It's Dunkin Donuts for breakfast. It makes sense, but I keep looking at it going, what is the outcome of having this cereal? Because you're a breakfast cereal that's advertising a thing most associated with breakfast. So either I buy Dunkin Donuts cereal, which means I'm not going to Dunkin Donuts, or I see the Dunkin Donuts cereal box and I go, you know what I really want? Some actual Dunkin Donuts. So I don't buy the cereal and go to Dunkin Donuts instead. So either way, one of you lose. I either eat the cereal, don't go to the place, or I go to the place, don't eat the cereal. This makes no sense, Dunkin Donuts. You've created a vortex that makes no sense. Time to make the donuts or the donut cereal. I'm not gonna split the two up. I'm not gonna go to Dunkin Donuts and get your bacon, egg, and cheese. Let me get that bacon, egg, and cheese, and then come home and eat it with the cereal. The cereal didn't last that long, so I guess maybe they realized it too. Later on, they came out with a Dunkin cereal, but it was based after the coffee flavors, and I think that makes more sense. Using breakfast to advertise breakfast just don't make sense to me. There's a reason why we don't have an Egg McMuffin cereal. But then again, didn't Pop-Tarts also make a cereal?
There really is a Pop-Tart cereal.
Kellogg's Pop-Tarts Crunch cereal.
Didn't Eggo Waffles also make a cereal? So, what do I know?
Part of a nutritious breakfast. Dunkin Donuts cereal. Crunchy little donuts, great big taste.
Monopoly had a cereal. Why? Yeah, in 2003, Monopoly was like, let's get into the cereal business. Who was asking for a Monopoly cereal? I understand that Monopoly is one of the most popular board games of all time, but I can't imagine someone playing Monopoly and going, man, I wish I could eat this game. Is that what happened? Were there too many reports of like young kids accidentally eating the Monopoly tokens and Monopoly took that as a sign of like, you know what? Maybe if we made it a breakfast cereal, they would eat that. So Monopoly cereal was basically Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but they like printed Monopoly tokens decorations on the Cinnamon Toast Crunch pieces. It's basically like those decals that you iron on a t-shirt. Gotta add those marshmallows though. So of course they had houses, hotels, and even deeds, the little cards that you would get when you get a property in Monopoly. They had those as marshmallow pieces. And the deed pieces, they even had them as different colors. So I mean, it's a cool idea, but it's just like, why? Why? Who wants to eat Monopoly? Eat the rich is literally a thing now. I think it only lasted about a year, but there's a part of me that goes, what if it was successful? Like, what would have been next? What other board game would you have tried to turn into cereal? Candyland, obviously. Like the Game of Life, would you turn the little pegs into marshmallows? Trouble, Sorry, Hungry Hippos. Okay, that actually would be a cool cereal. You could have little hippo marshmallows and the little marbles could be the corn pieces. And oh my God, get someone on the phone. This is a good idea.
Menace, what's so funny?
Morning Funny cereal, Mr. Wilson.
So Morning Funnies is a cereal that basically put together comic characters from the newspaper.
You asked for it.
When you ask for Morning Funnies, you're asking for some fun.
No Marvel, no DC. You're getting characters on your box like Dennis the Menace, Beetle Bailey, High and Lois, Family Circus, Funky Winkerbean, Luann, Marvin. Aren't you excited? Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, this cereal came out in 1988, and yes, I know newspapers were still a thing back then. A lot of these characters have been in the newspaper for several years. I mean, one thing if you had like the Justice League or the Avengers or hell, even Archie. Did Archie ever have a cereal? Archie should have had a cereal. I would eat some Jughead flakes. But with probably the exception of Dennis the Menace, none of us were walking around being like, yo, son, y'all check out that new Beetle Bailey. Yo, that Family Circus was tight. No, no one was doing that. I mean, like, I know what Beetle Bailey and Family Circus is and read some of these comic strips in the paper, but that's me. I'm weird. I'm not the perfect demographic to be testing this on. Or if you're going to do comic strip characters, get Charlie Brown and Snoopy, get Peanuts, get Popeye, get Garfield, Blondie and Dagwood, for goodness sake. Was Calvin and Hobbes or The Far Side too good to be put into cereal form? Was BC or Mother Goose and Grimm not available? I'm getting older the more I talk about this. Also, none of the cereal was shaped like any of the characters. It was just a bunch of smiling faces. You're basically eating a bowl of happy face emojis. Don't get any ideas. But it was still a really cool box because it had comic books on the back and you could actually flip open the back of the box to read more comics. Great idea, great packaging. The cereal actually won an award for its innovative design for being able to open the back of the box to read more comics. It also won another award for being one of the worst cereals for kids at the time. Apparently it had like the second highest sugar intake of all the cereals that were on the market. So you're a super sugary cereal that's causing complaints and you're featuring a bunch of comic book characters from the newspaper strip that your dad or grandpa remembers. Needless to say, Morning Funnies did not last long. But hey, at least you tried to keep the reading the funny papers alive in the 80s.
Morning Funnies is a delicious part of my complete breakfast.
When you ask for Morning Funnies, you're asking for some fun.
Great, huh, Mr. Wilson?
So as popular as breakfast cereals were, one of the biggest complaints they have had for years is that they were too sugary, too sweet, not really nutritious breakfast. And every cereal tried their hardest to be like, no, we're good. We got vitamins and minerals. In the fight for trying to prove that cereal was healthy, which we know it wasn't, but the fight for trying, ice cream cone cereal comes out of nowhere and it's like, we don't care.
My name's Ice Cream Jones. I'm bringing the kids my ice cream cones, a crunchy new cereal for breakfast.
Look, ice cream cone cereal is not really that different from any of the other cereals out there, but it's really hard to fight the argument that cereal is good for you when you have a cereal literally named after a dessert. Like Fruit Loops can still be like, hey, we're fruit flavored. Trix can be like, we're fruit flavored. Frosted Flakes can be like, there's still corn flakes in it. But what is ice cream cone cereal gonna do?
I'll have vanilla. Give me chocolate chip.
They look like little ice cream cones.
And taste like it.
I know it's not actual ice cream you're eating for breakfast, but you might as well just say that you are. Here's a cereal that looks like an ice cream cone. Why are you even eating this? Go get an ice cream cone.
Crispy cones and puffs for breakfast. They taste like vanilla. Ice cream cones or chocolate chip.
So yeah, man, nothing against ice cream cone cereal. I'm pretty sure I had it once or twice, but it did not help with the cause. And then as soon as it went away, Oreo O's and Reese's Puffs were like, well, let's just make this harder for you. And they still around.
This nutritious breakfast. My name's Ice Cream Jones. With the great taste of ice cream cones. New ice cream cone cereal.
Okay, this one I feel pretty sad about because this is actually a good idea. And once again, We're talking about dinosaurs, or let me say Dinersaurs.
Let's have breakfast at the Dinosaur Diner.
Nothing is finer than breakfast at the Dinosaur Diner. Dinosaurs!
No, you're not having the Mandela effect. Dinosaurs is not based after any cartoon series. There was no movie or comic. This is an original idea of what if dinosaurs had a diner. This is basically the dad joke of cereals.
Dinosaurs are a big part of this nutritious breakfast.
It was just a fruit-flavored cereal in dinosaur shapes. The cereals would have some marketing tie-ins. They would sometimes give away prizes like a trip to Disney World or Nintendo stuff. And at one point, Dinosaurs was giving away stickers, and they happened to call up one of their famous friends. And so sometimes they would have Denver the Last Dinosaur stickers in the box. The problem I have with Dinosaurs is that they just showed up too late in the game for an original idea. The cereal was around from 1988 to about 1990. And at that time, cereals were either already established cereals we've had for decades, you know, your classics, your Lucky Charms, your Fruit Loops, your Tricks, or they were cereals that had plastered on the face of it some cartoon or television show or movie that we were aware of at the time. Like, I feel like if Dinosaurs came out in like the 50s or the 60s or even the 70s, it would probably have caught on and we would still have it to this day. But yeah, coming out late 80s is like nobody's trying to learn a new cereal mascot at this point. It's unfortunate. That just shows you how tight of a grip the cereal mascot industry is. Cereal mascot world is a boys club or a leprechaun, tiger, toucan, 3 elves with rice, rabbit club. Also a bummer for Dinosaurs is they're too late to be original cereal mascots, but yet they were too early to not cash in on the 90s dinosaur craze. It's all about timing, Dinosaurs, but we'll never forget you and your wonderful dinosaur diner that looks like an actual dinosaur that's been killed and gutted out to put your diner in. Maybe that's the reason why it didn't last long.
New Dinosaurs Cereal.
So the moral of this video is eat eggs.